Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are going to take a real portfolio website and run it completely inside a Docker. Basically, the main purpose of my today's video is to get yourself familiarized with the how to Dockerize your application end to end. This is a complete hands-on demo for beginners. I want to showcase how to Dockerize your application. In this video, I'm taking an example of my sample portfolio website. Okay. So if you are a developer, a data scientist, machine learning engineer, or DevOps engineer, Docker is, as you might know, is one of the most important tools these days you need to learn, because it allows you to package your applications, whether one application or multiple applications, and run them consistently on any machine. Okay. By the end of this video, you will learn what Docker is, how Docker containers work, how to create a Docker file, how to build a Docker image, how to run a container, how to access your application in the browser, how to stop, how to restart the containers. So let's get started. First thing first, what is Docker? Before we start coding, let's quickly understand Docker. Think of Docker as a lightweight virtual environment, not a virtual machine, a virtual environment. Okay. Instead of saying it works on my machine, which is a typical situation before Docker came into into picture, when different developers working on a software development project, some might be facing an issue that this application is not working on my machine because it has several dependencies, which has several versions. Those versions were not working on one machine, but some of them were working on another machine, right? There were some discrepancies in those. So in case of Docker, when Docker came into picture, instead of saying it works on my machine, Docker basically, with Dockerization, any application can run anytime on any machine. Okay. Docker basically packages application code, runtime, libraries, dependencies, and configuration into a single unit that we call a container. That means your application will run exactly the same way on MacBook, on Windows, on Linux, or any cloud platform, whether Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure cloud platform. Today we will package our sample portfolio website into a Docker container. Okay. So let's look at our project. This is basically a simple portfolio website. I have created a folder for that on my desktop. Okay. So it has some basic files, a Docker file, HTML file where my portfolio web page is built. Basically this is a web page about my sample portfolio, basically about myself, what I did, what I want to do, how much experience I have. Okay. And my projects, my flagship projects, right, my credentials as far as my education background and my certifications, right, and my contact information. So this is my basically a digital you can say resume, right, in a professional manner about myself, right, my skills, as I mentioned, my experience, right, and projects I mentioned, and contacts, right. Yeah. So this is the web page that I want to open in a container, or I want to Dockerize this application. Okay. Besides the HTML file I have CSS file, basically that gives the styling to my HTML page, and then also I have a JavaScript functionality file. Okay, so in order to show you the demo, I want to open my VS Code. You can use any terminal or the code platform, the terminal coding platform, whatever that you like, but for simplicity I'm using here this VS Code application, right? So what I did basically, so I just created a folder, basically same folder that I am showing on my desktop, and I copy and pasted that folder here on VS Code, right? So this is a these are the same files: Docker file, index HTML file, readme file, basically some instructions, right? A script, JavaScript, and then a CSS styling about my web page, the font size, font color, paragraphs, buttons, all the styling work, right, about the HTML, right? So let's see. Okay, let's now open my terminal, right? So let's maximize this so you can see it better. So let's so since I am in this folder, in this directory, right, I want to see my all the files are showing. So you see list all these files. Yeah, that means I'm in the right directory. Current directory, I'm in the right directory, right? This directory. All right, clear. So now let's open that Docker file, right? So this is the very basic Docker file. It has some lines of code. I will explain in a moment. So the first line, you see, from nginx alpine. What it is, basically, this tells Docker to use the lightweight nginx web server image, right? Alpine Linux is very small, lightweight, and optimized application, right, from nginx that I'm using. And then the next line is copy dot user share nginx html. Basically this copies our website files into the default nginx web directory. Okay, the third line, expose 80. This is basically a port 80, which is a standard HTTP port in this example. cmd nginx dash g daemon off, all these are in double quotes, right? So this starts nginx when container launches. Without this command, the container would immediately stop. Okay, I want to now let's build our image, right? For that I want to run command docker build. Before doing that, I want to show you my Docker desktop. This is the application I downloaded from Docker webpage or Docker Hub. Depending on your machine, whether Windows, Linux, or MacBook, you can download accordingly that version. All the versions are available. You can download based on your machine. Since I'm using my MacBook system, I downloaded that version here, right? So right now the containers and image is showing. The container section is showing, not showing actually yet my portfolio web page, right? And similarly in the images, it's not showing that. Instead it is showing my previous project information in the image, right? So let's create our image first. So going back to VS Code, I want to run docker build dash t Andy portfolio space dot, right? So what it is, let me explain you that. Docker build, what it is, it builds an image, dash t, it assigns a tag Andy dash portfolio. This is basically the image name I gave, right? So that in future I can understand from the description of that image that okay, this is that project, right? This is basically a project name or image name, right? And then after space I added a dot, that is basically is telling me that this is the current directory I'm in. Okay, cool. Now, so after I run this command, I see that the Docker image has been created without any issue. I want to verify. Let's verify that. So for that I want to run Docker images, right? So you will see after running Docker images, I see on the very top this Andy portfolio latest. This is the latest Docker image I created. It shows the ID name, disk usage 100, about roughly 100 MB, and current size is 28.7 MB, right? Now, so the image is created, right? Now I want to let's see my Docker image. If I go to my Docker desktop, right, it is showing now that I just created this Andy portfolio, right? Yeah. So let's go back to my VS Code. Okay, so in VS Code I wanna run this since I'm using our Docker commands, so this is a standard command. I want to use docker run d dash p 80 name Andy portfolio container Andy portfolio. Okay, yeah, so let me explain you that what I did in this command. Okay, this is the command, right? So docker run dash d is a detached mode. Okay, the container basically runs in the background, dash p 80 semicolon 80. This maps actually the port 8080 is my MacBook port, and port 80 is the container port, right? Dash name dash name is the the container name I assigned, right? Andy portfolio, right? Andy portfolio container, right? And Andy portfolio is the image we built earlier, right? With this same name. So Andy portfolio is the image name, Andy portfolio container is my container name, right? Simple. Now I want to verify that my container is running. For that I want to just run command docker ps. You see, so after running docker ps, it confirms that my Andy portfolio container has been created and it is running about a minute ago. And this is the port number 8080, my MacBook port number, 80 is my container port number, right? And I can also verify on the Docker desktop right here, right? It is showing the green dot, that means it is running now. I can also maximize this so you can see clearly. So see, I can stop and run it. So yeah, so basically it has been sorry, this was the image and I wanted to show you the container, right? So yeah, so this is the container, right? And the portfolio container, the name I gave, right? This is the ID number, This is the port number, and then it is working, right? So it is working, the container is working, it is active, it's on. I can stop it from here, stop, but I want to show you further. Okay, so since my container is running, my image has been created. Now I want to show you my let's see, here, minimize this. Okay, move this side by side. Okay, so if I run this http localhost 8080, see, since my container is active, it is on, and if I run, you know, localhost port 8080, this port 8080 is my MacBook port, it's working, which is a local port. My application is running, is working fine, flawlessly, right? And it is also working in port 80, which is a container port number, right here, the green dot. Cool. So that shows that our portfolio website is no longer running directly from local files, it is running from a Docker container. This is exactly how modern applications are packaged and deployed. Okay. Now let's try another thing. I want to stop the container. For that I can run docker stop nd, that container name, nd portfolio dash container. Okay, so this should stop my container. If I go to my Docker desktop, you see, so this has been stopped, and the portfolio container has been stopped, right? If I click, also I could have also stopped it from here directly instead of writing the command prompt, but just to show you an example, we can do everything from our command prompt as well. Now going back to my VS Code command prompt, so okay, I stopped that application, right? Since I stopped my application, if I wanna go back to my this web page, it should also have been stopped. If I reload it, right, it's not activate now because my container is off. My web local, containerized port is also offline basically. I want to start it again, right? Simple plug and play. Wrong folder. Okay, I want to start it again. For that, what I can do docker start nd portfolio container. Okay, this should activated my container. See, it's green dot, is active again, and I refresh my this web page, it is activate again. Cool. So the website is back online again. Okay, and I can verify from my VS Code terminal by writing this command docker ps. See, the status is up, it has been up, the container has been up 20 seconds ago, right? Cool. So if I want to see all the containers that I have created today, as well as all the previous containers I have created, so for that I can run docker ps a mean all. So these are all the containers I have created so far. I can also show you here. Yeah, so these are my all the containers, right? This is the container from today's example that I'm showing you, which is activated, right? Yeah, so clear. And I want to show you the Docker images as well. I can show you this, right? The images and the portfolio latest image we created today, right? I have also showed you before. If I want to stop the container, I can do that. I can start the container. I have shown you these commands, right? So by using this docker start this container file, I can start the container, that particular container. If I want to stop, I can use this command, right? Now if I want to remove the container, for that what I need to do, I can just change this stop with rm mean remove. Okay, oh, because container is running, first I have to stop it. That's what it is saying. Container is stopped. Now I can remove it. See, it has been removed. It should not show in my Docker desktop. See, it's gone. Cool. So the same in real world applications, this same process is used for React applications, Python Flask applications, Fast API applications, machine learning APIs, generative AI applications, microservices, enterprise web applications. Once your application is containerized, deploying it to any cloud platform, whether AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, Kubernetes or OpenShift, it becomes much easier, right? In conclusion, what we have learned today, what we learned so far, what Docker is, how containers work, how to create a Docker file, how to build a container, how to access the application in the browser, how to stop and how to restart the containers. If you found this tutorial helpful, please like, subscribe and share this video. In the next tutorial, I will take this Docker container and deploy it to the cloud using let's say Kubernetes, right? Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.